Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Sam, and with me, as always, is the insightful Taylor. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely.
Okay, so today we're looking into something really surprising, maybe even uh, deeply ironic about George Orwell. You know, the writer behind Animal Farm, 1984.
Classics, yeah.
Exactly. Well, it turns out his roots go deep into India. And this connection, it sort of reshapes how you might read his critiques of power.
That's right. And for this deep dive, we're drawing from sources like From Motihari to 1984, George Orwell's Forgotten Indian Roots from 5 Census Tours. Our mission, really, is to unpack the contradictions of empire that maybe shaped him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll explore these, well, surprising links between Orwell and Gandhi and try to get why this specific corner of India, mostly forgotten now, became this crucible for anti-establishment thought. We want to give you those aha moments, about how place really shapes perspective. Maybe make you see 1984 a bit differently.
Okay, so let's dig into that central irony first.
Yes.
It's almost funny in a dark way. George Orwell, right.
Yeah.
The ultimate critic of empire, of totalitarianism.
Yeah, the voice against oppression.
Exactly. He was born right in the heart of the British Empire. 1903, Motihari, Bihar, India. That's where Eric Arthur Blair, his real name, came into the world. It wasn't George Orwell yet, obviously. But this start, thousands of miles from England. It feels critical.
It really is.
And his father, Richard Walmsley Blair, he was like a pretty low-ranking official working for the empire, specifically in the opium department. Just think about that for a second.
And that's what's so fascinating, how that specific detail, his father's job, his birth circumstances, how it connects directly to Orwell's later work. His very existence, from day one, was tied up in this imperial economy built on opium grown right there in Bihar.
Right.
And this wasn't just farming. This opium was shipped off to China, causing, huge addiction problems, social ruin. Our source material calls it the great imperial lie, this idea that, poppies were simply commerce, not chains.
Wow. Commerce, not chains. That's powerful.
It is. And it suggests his earliest environment was basically a living example of the hypocrisy he'd spent his life exposing. He was literally born into the lie. Maybe that gave him this almost, intuitive grasp of how power twists truth right from the start.
That is an aha moment. His origin story is the start of his fight.
Setting the stage for that lifelong obsession with, stripping away the comforting lies to get to the bare truth. His birth certificate, documenting where he came from. It's, like the source says, steeped in empire's contradictions.
It's quite a beginning. And what makes this period even more remarkable is another connection, one that's often missed, linking two giants of anti-colonial thought.
Right near his birthplace.
Yeah. Just beyond Motihari's streets is Champaran. And it was there in 1917, so Orwell would have been about 14, though long gone from India by then, but right near his birthplace. That's where Mahatma Gandhi staged his first major act of civil resistance in India.
The Champaran Satyagraha.
Exactly. And the situation was bleak. The British were forcing farmers to grow indigo for export. It wrecked the soil, kept the farmers poor, basically trapped in the system.
And if you look at the bigger picture, Gandhi's approach there was, revolutionary. He showed up, like the source says, not with guns or banners, but with a notebook and an ear for the grievances of farmers.
That's listening.
Listening. Documenting. Satyagraha, truth force, soul force. It wasn't just a protest. It was this whole philosophy of nonviolent resistance based on moral conviction, trying to convert the oppressor, not just fight them.
Yeah.
And it really kicked off the movement that eventually unraveled the whole empire.
So you have these two figures.
Yeah, this ghostly kinship, as the source puts it. Two really powerful but different critiques of empire starting in the same small region.
Wow.
Gandhi's through nonviolence, this moral challenge, and Orwell's later through what the source calls the weapon of plain-spoken truth.
Static weapon, same target.
Pretty much. Gandhi exposed the brutality of British rule there. Orwell later exposed the brutality inherent in any unchecked power, east or west.
That link is incredible. But Orwell didn't just observe empire from afar, did he? He experienced it from the inside, too.
Right. Not just being born into it, but actually serving it.
He never went back to Motihari after he was a baby, grew up in England, but then as a young man he went out to Burma, served in the imperial police there. So different place, but still empire. And this time he wasn't a baby, he was part of the machinery.
An agent of its power.
Yeah. And you see it so clearly in his essay, Shooting an Elephant. He talks about being forced by this crowd to shoot an elephant he didn't want to kill. He felt that paradox of power. How the ruler ends up being controlled by the expectations of the people they rule. He really came to hate being that symbol of imperial authority.
And that experience in Burma, that was undoubtedly the seed of his later clarity about tyranny. You can almost feel how the memory, maybe subconscious, of the poppy fields near his birth and the indigo fields of Champaran, how it all connected.
Even if he wasn't consciously thinking about Motihari.
Exactly. The source uses this phrase, he smelled the sweat of empire up close. That really captures it, I think. It wasn't just political theory for him.
No.
It was the grubby day-to-day reality, the petty stuff, the economic games, the smell of deceit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he distilled into Animal Farm in 1984. That visceral understanding of how power works, how it corrupts, concepts like doublethink, holding two contradictory ideas at once.
Yeah.
That comes from seeing it happen, from living inside those contradictions, right? From his father's job to his own time in Burma. It gave him this unique lens on human nature and politics.
It's really striking how those experiences from infancy through his 20s just saturated his thinking. So what about Motihari now? Does the place itself hold any of that resonance today?
It does in a very, well, an Orwellian way, maybe.
How so?
Well, his ancestral house was ignored for ages, just crumbling. Now it's being restored, but into a modest museum, not some grand monument.
Which feels right for Orwell somehow.
Exactly. There's that strange charm in this neglect, as the source mentions. It fits with his focus on stripping things to their bare truth.
So if you went there today...
You'd find the house, yes. But beyond that, you'd find Motihari itself. Bazaars buzzing with life, cycle rickshaws, the smell of street food and incense, and you'd also feel the Gandhian legacy nearby in Champaran. The ashrams, the memorials to that first satyagraha. It's still there.
A landscape of different rebellions.
Yeah, rebellion by silence and rebellion by pen, side by side almost. Visiting lets you see India maybe a bit through Orwell's eyes, not just monuments, but the living story of power, poverty, resilience.
And that paradox you mentioned.
The Orwell-Gandhi paradox. Both stories starting there point to the same thing. Empires look strong, but they eventually crumble when faced with the stubborn insistence of the human spirit. Gandhi showed it through non-cooperation. Orwell showed it by taking apart the lies on the page. It makes Motihari more than just a place on a map. It's, yeah, a meditation.
That's a really profound way to put it. So bringing this all together, Orwell's connection to India, it's not just some biographical trivia, is it?
Not at all.
It feels like a powerful reminder that these huge battles for truth and freedom, they can start in the most unexpected places, in the soil where oppression is felt most keenly. So Motihari isn't just a tourist spot. It's more like a question mark, as the source suggests. It makes you wonder why these two massive legacies, one Eastern, one Western, kind of intersected right there.
Yeah.
What's the biggest takeaway, do you think? The lesson Motihari offers us now, especially today.
I think it means that the warnings from both Orwell and Gandhi are still incredibly relevant, maybe even more relevant now.
Also.
Well, Orwell warned about truth being manipulated, about surveillance, about doublethink. We see echoes of that everywhere, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
And Gandhi warned that violence, even for a good cause, corrupts the soul. Another timeless warning. So, standing near Orwell's birthplace today, it's not just about honoring a writer. It feels like a reminder of our own responsibility.
A pilgrimage, almost.
Exactly. India has so many pilgrimages, temples, rivers. Motihari is different. It's a pilgrimage to conscience. It's a place that reminds you that seeing clearly, speaking truth, resisting injustice, these are fundamental. They're always necessary. And maybe the lingering question it leaves you with, the kind Orwell himself might pose, is, will you come and see where the man who taught the world to see through lies first opened his eyes?
If you decide to travel to India, we have a recommendation. 5 Senses Tours organizes tours across India, which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@5sensetours.com. Note 5 is written as a numeral in contact@5sensetours.com. Or WhatsApp to +919 845 677 446.